changing lives. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa basketball. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by U.S. Cellular, built for the Hawkeyes. Built for silencing notifications and turning up the noise. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Welcome back to another rousing Monday night of Hawk Talk here from the Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing in Coralville. Good evening, everybody. Hawkeye basketball is 2/3 of the way through the season now. There are 10 games left guaranteed on the schedule that we know of, and anything beyond that, well, it's up to the players. Nothing else to motivate more than the factor that you got a chance to play in postseason. And that push begins Thursday night at Penn State, Iowa Penn State, as we welcome you into another Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery, live from the Hyatt Regency in Coralville's River Landing. Tip time Thursday is 6 o'clock for the Hawkeyes and the Nittany Lions, one of the more improved teams in the conference. We'll be on the air at 5 o'clock with our pregame show. I'm Gary Dolphin behind the microphone, as always, joined by my teammate Bobby Hansen. Welcome to the beautiful Hyatt Regency, beautifully remodeled Hyatt Regency. We'll talk about that as the evening wears on. The Hawkeyes split a pair of decisions last week. Tuesday night, the Hawks got down 17 at Indiana and then roared back to get the lead at 68-66 with a little more than a minute remaining, only to have the Hoosiers score the final 8 points and pull out a 74-68 victory. And then Friday night over at Carver Hawkeye Arena, Iowa and the Ohio State Buckeyes counter-punch through 15 ties and 10 lead changes before Patrick McCaffery's 4 free throws in the final minute nudged the Hawkeyes to a 79-77 victory. Tony Perkins was the virtuoso. He was the leader of the symphony again with another virtuoso performance. 20 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. That's 5 consecutive games of 20-plus points for the senior from Indianapolis. Right now, Tony Perkins, if the season ended today, he'd have to be first team All Big Ten. He's top 10 in scoring, in assists, and in steals. Plus, he's averaging 5 rebounds a game. Bobby, before we get to Tony, by the way, Tony will join us here in just a few minutes on our Hawk Talk program with Coach McCaffery. But Bobby, assessed this past week, win one, lose one, played your hearts out, and here you are with 10 games remaining. You're 13-9. Hawkeyes are within 1 game of 500, and typically 500 or better gets you in the NCAA tournament. I don't know if that happens this year, but I like the way they're playing. Yeah, one at a time, Gary, no doubt about it. And the next one on the schedule is a tough one at Penn State to the brand new team, new coach. Mike Rhodes came in from Virginia Commonwealth, brought a couple players alongside with him, very good players as well. But I think the team's playing well. And you mentioned Tony Perkins, on top of what Owen Freeman's doing, Peyton Sanford, bombs away from the outside. They're getting contribution from everybody. So that's what it takes this time of year, Gary, when, you're halfway through the Big Ten season, maybe a couple of them that you wish you had back. But to go on the road and win twice at Michigan, and then the game we just had, you won at Minnesota as well, and then the Ohio State victory, which was back and forth. As you mentioned, it was punch, counter punch, but 15 ties, 11 lead changes, something like that. That'll wear you out sometimes as a player, but kids fought through it and came away with a big victory, and just hover around that 500. Just try to get a little streak going, and the Hawks always play good in February and March. They do. Fran gets them fired up, particularly in that stretch drive, and hopefully that happens again. Peyton Sanford and Josh Dix had 15 points each. Patrick McCaffery with 10, including he drained 8 for 8 from the foul line. I mean, the Hawks really clinched it at the free throw line the other night. 18 of 21, as memory serves me correct. That was good to see. Yeah, good to see everybody step up there and make them, because that's an individual thing. You got to work on that on your own, but it means so much to a basketball team. The Hawks go 18 of 22. Tony was 8 out of 9. Patrick, a perfect 8 out of 8 he was, and clutch
4 big free throws down the stretch. There were a couple of timeouts called in there to try to rattle him a little bit, but he was confident, and it's good to see out of Patrick. As we need him. We need his shooting. He's a good shooter. He can adequately rebound. We love his length in there. So he played 15 minutes, got those 10 points, and as we mentioned, the 8 free throws, but I was particularly pleased with the ability to calm down and knock those free throws in. They were game winners.
Considering that to win the basketball game against an Ohio State team that really scrapped, with Owen Freeman playing roughly half the game, that says something about the Hawkeyes' heart and their desire. But it would be nice to see Owen stay on the floor. But he has been snake bitten by whistles.
Yeah, he's learning. No doubt about it, Gary. You know, Fran talks about gets a little too much hands in there, gets a little handsy, and then slap down. They're teaching these big guys to, body up with your chest and then keep your arms straight up, just tall up, if you will, wall up. Some people call it, but he's learning. And what a fabulous freshman year Owen Freeman's having. Just playing those 20 minutes, he was still 3 for 4 from the field. 1 of 2 free throw line. He had 6 rebounds to go along with 7 points and a block shot in there. So yeah, he's invaluable. But you know what? In his when he went to the bench, Laji Dembele came in there and really gave you some terrific minutes in there, gave you some toughness, and 6 big rebounds for Laji, 3 on the offensive glass as well.
Part of that freshman class, and he's the jump shot will come, his offense will come, but as we've heard Coach McCaffery just rave about his rebounding, his defense. He's got blocked shots. And he's undersized, and they're asking him to play the post, and he's responded.
He's responded, and playing on a bum ankle, too, which he really bounced back quickly from the sprained ankle there. But I always said, I've said it on the air, that you're not rebounding very well. Just go to the bench and point at Laji and say, go get some rebounds, my man. And he can certainly do that. He's just not afraid of the moment, not afraid of anything. He'll scrap. He'll get down on the floor, Gary, get the uniform dirty, and scrum out some of them loose ball rebounds in there. But I love his toughness inside.
Averaging a couple rebounds. He's got 12 steals, 6 block shots. He's been really omnipresent in the defensive end, and that's where the Hawks can always seek out and need more help.
Yeah, everybody, all hands on deck. Evan Bruns got in there a little bit in the game against Ohio State, the home game. Brock Harding only plays 3 minutes, but he had a couple assists in those 3 minutes that he played. DeSante Bowen was in there pushing tempo. So it's what it takes, and it's what makes a team close and good, is when everybody can contribute, Gary, and feel like they were a part of a victory.
Hawks head to Happy Valley to face Penn State on Thursday at the Bryce Jordan Center. Never an easy place to win. I don't care what kind of year Penn State's having. The Hawkeyes have won 2 of their last 3 road contests dating back to mid-January. And let's hope it's 3 out of 4. It's kind of Iowa-Penn State week. We heard Lisa talking about the Penn State game at Carver on Thursday night. The number 1 ranked Penn State wrestlers come to town Friday night to take on the Hawkeyes, and they're snorting fire out of their nostrils after getting knocked off by Michigan in a dual meet up in Ann Arbor over the weekend. But it'll be a sold-out house back-to-back Thursday and Friday night at Carver Hawkeye Arena. We'll be out in State College on Thursday night again. 5 o'clock for the pregame show and 6 o'clock for the tip-off. Let's make it a clean sweep of Penn State this week. We're at the beautiful Hyatt Regency here in Coralville in the Iowa River Landing tonight. We invite you to stop on out. We're here until 8:30, Hawk Talk at the Hyatt Regency Coralville restaurant. Watch the show live. Each week we're offering a special food menu as well as new cocktails and a $3 draft special. Come on out to the Hyatt Regency Coralville and join us for a great evening. Terrific wait staff and bartenders here, and the food is spectacular. All right, for you folks that are at home tonight or traveling, you'd like to check in here on the Hawkeye Radio Network with a question. By the way, Coach McCaffery is on the road tonight. He is not here, but we've got the veteran assistant coach, our guy. He's sitting back there now. He's just itching to get out.
Ready to go, man. Get him up here.
Sherman Dillard will be up here in just a few moments. Sherman's been with Fran mostly every step of the way in Fran's coaching career, at least for a lot of it or a majority of it. And Sherman is one of the top recruiters anywhere, and he'll tell us about his thoughts on this young Iowa basketball team that's feeling its way, about the recruits. We're going to talk about the recruits. We haven't done that a lot this year, but
good point.
J.R. Koch's son is coming here next year. Cooper Koch and Chris Taji. Tajo, excuse me. They've had too many vowels in that last name, but that's okay. I'll get over it. They've had terrific years. Their final year in high school. So we'll get the update on Chris and on Cooper. And, of course, we want your input. So, fans, check in with us now on Twitter and or Facebook. On Twitter, at Gary Dolphin, or on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawkeyes. And for you folks who are live, at least I hope you're all live, alive.
Yeah, they're doing good.
Here in the Hyatt.
We're warm.
If you have a question or a comment, feel free to come on up and jot it down on a piece of paper. We can take your name and questions as well. For Coach Sherman Dillard, who will join us in just a few minutes. We'll have a U.S. Bank scoreboard as the evening progresses, and more here on Hawk Talk as Iowa gets set for the stretch drive to the season. We're sponsored tonight by Bud Light. Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch, proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. We're coming right back to the Hyatt Regency. This is Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery and Learfield.
I'm Ingrid Lizarraga, breast surgeon at the University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center, the state's only NCI-designated cancer center. Here, we look beyond just the type of cancer you have to discover the molecular details of the disease. We have teams dedicated to each cancer type, with treatments and trials you won't find anywhere else in Iowa. Go to uihc.org/cancer.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through!
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together. Member FDIC.
Ground beef is only $2.99 a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And $2.99 a pound is not just the price today or this week. It's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop. And count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for ground beef every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
To anyone passing through our state, fields and fields of corn might be what they see. But the people who call Iowa home know it's so much more. Corn is ethanol, a homegrown, renewable fuel. Corn is delicious pork, beef, poultry, and dairy. Corn is in 4,000 products we rely on every day. So yeah, our highway views are full of corn, and we're proud of it. Because corn grows Iowa. Show your support for Iowa corn farmers at iowacorn.org/corngrowsiowa.
Hey, it's your friend, social media. You know, where I showcase the cool life of sports stars and friends. But don't fall for the editing and good lighting, because we all have struggles and challenges, like with alcohol or drug use, gambling, or our mental health. Talking about it is a sign of strength. Maybe you don't know who to talk to. Your Life Iowa can give you resources or treatment options. Get free 24/7 confidential support. Call, text, or chat online at yourlifeiowa.org. A message from Iowa HHS.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency in Coralville and Learfield. Gary Dolphin along with former Hawkeye great and NBA champion Bobby Hansen. And Sherman Dillard will be joining us here momentarily. We're brought to you by our friends at Wellmark. Attention Hawk fans who buy your own health insurance. Wellmark is on your side. and on the health insurance marketplace. Let's give it up for plans you can afford. Check out wellmark.com/hoops to compare plans. Wellmark. Got another great crowd here tonight. Of course, Coach Bluter left a few minutes ago. A great crowd for her show as always, and we're glad a lot of you hung around. And our regulars are here to say hi to Coach Sherman Dillard, who's been with Fran McCaffery how many years?
14 years. All 14 years.
All 14. But you and Fran go way back beyond 14 years.
Well, we go back to, I want to say, the early 80s. We were both, we thought we were good high school basketball players and collegiate basketball players. And Fran was growing up in Philadelphia. I was growing up in South Central Virginia. We happened to meet at the University of Maryland's basketball camp and playing in the counselor games, and we've been friends ever since. And I joined him when he got the job in 2010. Ironically enough, I just left my job at Nike, and I was looking to get back into college coaching. And so I go to the Final Four. It just so happened to be in Indianapolis at the Hyatt Regency. I walk in the Hyatt Regency there, and the first people I see are Fran McCaffery and Margaret McCaffery. He had just gotten the job here at Iowa.
It was destiny.
Absolutely. And he says, Sherman, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm looking to get back into college coaching. He said, I didn't know that. He said, give me a call Sunday. I gave him a call Sunday. I visited the campus, and he hired me.
Had you been to Iowa before that, sure?
Well, I've been to Iowa, not Iowa City.
To Iowa University, yeah.
The University of Iowa, no. But I was head coach in Indiana State, as you know, and obviously Northern Iowa and Drake we played.
The Valley.
Yes.
Never scheduled Iowa in the non-conference then?
No.
Okay.
I don't think they would play me at the time.
Well, you were pretty good. Iowa was really good.
I know. I didn't want to play them.
Oh, Sherman, you've coached under some legendary coaches. Is looking at your bio here that they handed us, starting with Lefty Drizel and then Bobby Cremins and Lou Campanelli and now Coach McCaffery. So that's got to be quite a thing. You learn from all of them, I guess.
Well, you do. I just been blessed, quite frankly. I graduated from college, was drafted in the NBA by the Indiana Pacers. Had always wanted to be a coach. My best friend in life and the guy I have the most respect for in life is my high school coach, Ernie Ness, who coached me in high school. And basically, I've made a career out of it. Started back in 1979, was my first coaching job at the University of Maryland with Lefty. As you very well know, he's a Hall of Famer. We had some outstanding teams there. I was fortunate to coach great players like Albert King, Buck Williams, the late, great Len Bias. But to your point, Bobby, I learned a lot from everybody I worked with. Lefty was terrific. He was an outstanding recruiter. I learned a lot about recruiting from Lefty. I left Maryland after 6 years to join my former college coach, Lou Campanelli, who had just gotten a job. He left James Madison, took a job at the University of California in Berkeley in the Pac-10 at that time. And I joined him for 3 years and had a chance to coach a great player. I think people know his name, Kevin Johnson, Hall of Famer. KJ.
Sacramento kid.
Coached him for 2 years, and boy, what a player he was.
Yeah.
And then, to your point, I left there and went to Georgia Tech with Bobby Cremins. And for 6 years in Atlanta, Georgia, we had some outstanding teams. And I was fortunate to be a part of a 1990 team that made it to the Final Four in Denver, Colorado. We ended up losing to UNLV, who eventually became the national champions. 5-point game at halftime against UNLV in the semifinal game, and we just ran out of steam.
Was that Mark Price team, or was he at Georgia Tech?
No, I coached against Mark Price. Mark Price was at Georgia Tech when I was coaching at Maryland.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. Great player, and the point is Bobby Cremins had some great teams.
Funny story. Let me tell you about Mark Price, though. I'm recruiting a kid. You know the name Mark Wayman Tisdale?
I sure do. Oklahoma.
Yeah. Played with him in Sacramento.
So when I'm coaching at the University of Maryland, Lefty had this thing. He always wanted us to go out and get a center. And obviously Wayman Tisdale was one of the best players in the country.
For sure.
So I would spend all this time going out to see him in Oklahoma. And his high school coach told me, he said, Sherman, there's another kid you ought to go see. He's right down the street. And I said, who is he? He says, Mark Price. I said, how big is he? He said, about 6 feet tall, but he can really shoot. And so, I go 6 feet tall at that time. I'm thinking,
Lefty wants a center.
He wants a center. So we didn't recruit Mark Price. So fast forward, Mark Price goes to Georgia Tech. I'm at the University of Maryland. Mark Price just continues to kick our butt the whole time I'm at Maryland. So True story.
You don't get them all, but you get a lot of good ones. But, that is kind of a recruiting in a nutshell, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Hey, you ought to go down the road and look at Sherman Diller. He's pretty good.
Well, you know what? I learned a valuable lesson there. Like, from now on, when I get recommendations, I always follow up on them.
At least take a peek.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
you brought in Luka Garza now, right? Who gave you that recommendation?
You know what happened with Luka? Did Fran tell you this? I'm sure Fran told you this on air. Fran was going to a camp. His son was playing at a camp in St. Louis. I used to run that camp when I worked for Nike. It was called the Hoop Jamboree. Yeah, it's called the Hoop Jamboree. Now it's presently called the Elite 100. And Fran's watching his sons play, and he looks at the corner of his eye, and there's this 7-footer that weighed about 290 pounds, 300 pounds, and Fran fell in love with him. So when Fran gets back, he goes,
got a good eye.
He puts the name on my desk. He says, Sherman, this kid, Luka Garza, he's huge. He's huge. He's freaking huge. But you got to go see him.
But he can shoot.
He says, we got to recruit this kid. And so because I spent some time in Washington, D.C., I said, sure, let's follow up on it. So I follow up on it. I do my due diligence. I'm talking to the kid's father, Frank Garza, whom we all know, okay?
Big Frank.
And then Frank calls me back one day, and Frank goes, hey, Sherman, by the way, we got a new coach at Murray High School, coaching Luka Garza. And I says, great. He said, Kelly, his father's a Hall of Famer. He's an outstanding coach. It's going to be great for Luka. And I go, who could that be? And he goes, his name. I said, what's his name? He goes, Chuck Drizel. And so Chuck, Lefty's son, was coaching Luka Garza in high school. So that's the connection we had. And so with Chuck being there, and then obviously our relationship with Lefty, his father,
that helped.
We were able to build a relationship with Luka. And by the way, Luka made 3 visits to our campus before he eventually signed with us. 2 unofficial trips that he can make, and then he made an official visit later on and decided to sign with us.
How's the transfer portal and NIL? I know it's changed the world when it comes to recruiting, but how have you adjusted to it, and what's in the future?
Well, you have to adjust. I think there's been a lot of talk about people not liking it, and it's bad for college basketball, but I think we live in an era now where you just got to adapt. Everything you do in life, and in basketball is no different in life, is you got to get on that bus and ride with it, or that train, and stick with it. And I think our fans now have been educated about the need to go this way with NIL. I'm not happy with the transfer portal. I think I think when they came out with the transfer portal the way it is, in addition to the NIL together, I think it compounded the situation. So now you got a free-for-all, and everybody's transferring and trying to get paid. I'm all for student athletes being able to make some money and off their value and their name, image, and likeness. I get that. But I'm not for kids being able to transfer once or twice and be eligible right away.
Will it be better? I mean, it'll help when the COVID year is finally expired.
Yeah.
A little more control over it.
Yeah.
Tim on Twitter, Coach, says on that subject, because of NIL and the transfer portal in regard to recruiting, is it done during the summer with players, summer tournaments? Is that still in vogue?
Yeah, I think the majority of our recruiting happens during the summer months. Well, actually spring and summer. Mm-hmm. I'm dating myself, but back when I played in high school, we didn't have AAU basketball, so it wasn't a lot of summer basketball. But right now, kids take advantage of the opportunity to play in these national tournaments all over the country. And I think it's efficient for us because we can see so many young men in one setting. So if we go to Las Vegas, if we go to Augusta, Georgia, you may see thousands of kids in that setting for the 2 or 3 day period. So I'm all for that period. I think we still continue to recruit mostly during the summer months. Now during the school year, obviously, here at Iowa, we're caught up in trying to get ready to beat Penn State.
Sure.
So it's awfully tough for us to pack up and go off recruiting when we need to be here to prepare our team to get ready to win basketball games.
Well, before we take a break, tell us, since we're talking recruiting, tell us about the 2 young men. What impresses you about Koch and Chris in the NBA Academy, and of course over in down near Peoria or Morton. Where is
Metamora,
yes. Illinois, where Cooper Koch, JR's son, is starring.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's great in recruiting when you get a chance to see a young man like Cooper. We were fortunate to see him at our basketball camp years ago when he was probably in the 5th grade or so, and he's one of those kids, you know, sometimes, I think we mentioned this earlier, sometimes you can look at a young man and say, I think he's going to be really, really good down the road. And Cooper was that type of young man. When we saw him at basketball camp, he was head and shoulders above everybody else at camp, even at his age. And I think with his father graduating from here and playing here, I think the kid built a really good relationship with us, trusted Coach McCaffery, likes our style of play. And I think Cooper, you know, I think in recruiting, it's important to pick kids and recruit kids that fit your style of play and that can come in and not necessarily play right away, and I think he will play right away, and I think he'll be a contributor right away, but I think the style fits how we play. And Cooper seems to be, I put him in the same category of like an Aaron White. You guys remember Aaron White? He came in here, you know, 6'9", 6'10". If he stood sideways, you would mark him absent. But
Cooper can shoot.
But Aaron White turned out to be a great player for us. All right?
He sure did.
And I think what happens is, and we all, as recruiters or coaches, and we follow Fran's lead, and we like guys that have some versatility about them, and Cooper has this versatility. Like, he's long, he's fluid, he's a wing, he can play the 3 spot, small forward for you guys, but he can also play inside. He's got enough size to be able to go down low and play. And I think what makes him terrific is, you know, I always say this to guys. They always ask me, how can I become a better player? How can I become an elite basketball player? And how can I be a star? And I think the one thing is, I always share with them, is you got to be hard to guard. You got to make yourself hard to guard. And I think Cooper, because of his skill set, ability to knock down threes, ability to put the ball on the floor and create off the bounce, it makes him hard to guard, and I think that's why he's going to be a very good player for us here moving forward.
Having a good year.
Yeah. And Chris, obviously, Chris Taggio, with the NBA Academy in Latin America. He's from Montreal, Canada, 6'8". I did not get a chance to see Chris live, I have to be honest. We were at an event, tournament, and I think Matt, Courtney, and Fran were in one gym, and I was in another gym. They didn't want me to be with them for some reason. I don't know what that was about, but I'm only joking. You can laugh at that. But they all come back and they rave about this kid, Chris Taggio, right? And he's 6'8", he's long, he's athletic, he's got bounce, terrific perimeter skills, can knock down a mid-range jumper, and I think he'll fit in well with how we play here at Auburn.
Yeah, they both love the style.
Yes.
That's good stuff. Thanks for the update. Sherman Dillard pinch hitting for Coach McCaffery tonight. We'll take a break. And when we return, Tony Perkins is in the house. We'll talk with one of the outstanding players in Big Ten play, and certainly we're glad he's an Iowa Hawkeye. That's coming up next year on Hawk Talk with Coach Dillard and Tony Perkins from Learfield and the Hyatt Regency. Back in a minute.
Beef is only $2.99 a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And $2.99 a pound is not just the price today or this week. It's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop. And count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for ground beef every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 57 years. Oak Knoll is located near University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oakknoll.com to learn more. We're a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Oh, coming through!
or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel. Good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smartertogether. Member FDIC.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spon & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spon & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spon & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spon & Rose, buy easier, build better.
To anyone passing through our state, fields and fields of corn might be what they see. But the people who call Iowa home know it's so much more. Corn is ethanol, a homegrown, renewable fuel. Corn is delicious pork, beef, poultry, and dairy. Corn is in 4,000 products we rely on every day. So yeah, our highway views are full of corn, and we're proud of it. Because corn grows Iowa. Show your support for Iowa corn farmers at iowacorn.org/fan of corn.
Right now, you are not in the crowded Carver Hawkeye Arena, but you could be. You're not cheering a Hawkeye steal, fast break, and slam dunk, but you could be. Play the Hawkeye Gold scratch ticket, and you could win a VIP game day experience to see the Iowa men's basketball team. The Countdown to Carver promotion from the Iowa Lottery lets you be a part of the action. To enter your ticket and see details, visit ialottery.com/VIP.
Well, we're back at the Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing. Beautiful Coralville. Thanks for joining us tonight on Hawk Talk with Hawkeye basketball coach Fran McCaffery. Pinch hitting tonight is Sherman Dillard. Sherman has stepped out for a moment. Let's welcome in Iowa's latest 1,000-point career scorer, Tony Perkins, our outstanding guard, who is on a roll. Tony's had 5 consecutive games of at least 20 points, but it doesn't stop there. He's top 10 in the Big Ten in scoring, in assists, and in steals. So you're getting it done at both ends of the court. And isn't it amazing how as you mature, as the years go by, the game slows down for you?
Yeah, the coaches made it real easy for me. Working the off season, watching film, and them just showing me, I can play my own plays. I don't have to play fast and all that. And I'm strong, I guess, so I can handle the physicality in this league. So. And
you're handling about 34, 35 minutes a game too. So your stamina, your strength, physically and mentally, is where it should be.
Yeah, I've been wanting to play that many minutes when I came in, but now I'm able to get them now. I'm taking full advantage of it. So.
Until my dying day, I'll remember that Big Ten tournament championship game against Purdue a couple of years ago in Indianapolis, if memory serves me correct, in front of your home folk at Lawrence North High School in Indianapolis. Not since that point, but that game was really special for you, and you've never dropped the baton since.
No, I couldn't, especially winning in front of all my people and in my city. It was just amazing. So, I want to win another one this year. So that's the goal.
I'm with you.
Tony, what I like about your game is you're strong. You get in there and rebound. You take the physicality, as you mentioned. When the game's on the line, I say put the ball in Tony's hands and let's let him make a play. You're a willing passer. You'll drop the ball off. You'll hit the shooters out there, but you're able to take the punishment that these physical defensive teams are getting you. And you've been consistent. You talk about scoring 5 straight games now, 20-plus points. That's great. And you're playing at an all Big Ten level. So where is it just being a senior now, Tony, or where did the light come on and it's like, okay, this is how we're going to make this happen?
I would say just being a senior, trying to take the next step. My first 3 years being here, I was just, I'm trying to be that good player, but now I'm evolving to being the leader and changing my game to what I can do to win, scoring, rebounding, offensive. So just mix it up, just being versatile to do whatever to get a W.
Tony Perkins, those 5 consecutive games of 20-plus points, the first by a Hawkeye since Keegan Murray 3 years ago. So you're in some pretty rarefied air, but you're averaging 22 points, 4 assists, a couple steals. But maybe even more amazing is in those 5 games you've committed 6 total turnovers, and that really permeates the entire team. Iowa's one of the very best in the country at taking care of the basketball. That is so important. That and rebounding is so important at this level, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very important. We're not a turnover team, so whenever we get over anything over 5 turnovers, we have an issue in the locker room. But
yeah, we can hear him out on the floor. We can hear him. Yeah. The other thing is the free throws. The free throw conversion. The other night, you literally won the game at the foul line. I think the Hawks were 18 for 18 at Michigan. You guys really pay attention to the free throw line.
Yeah, we always practice free throws after practice, most definitely. We play games to like go through them situations. So when we're in those situations in the game, we need to knock them down. That's what we do because we're used to it.
And Tony, future aspiration, you want to be a professional basketball player, I assume, and you have all the skills necessary to be a professional. You can take it to the rack, dunk on people, you make 3-pointers, you make your free throws, you got that nice mid-range game in there. So you talk about what 5 years, 6 years from now, where you want to be.
I want to be in the NBA, of course. That was always a dream of mine, and just be there and do what I love. And of course, I always visit back and watch the kids in Iowa grow up as well, and that's why I chose Iowa, just the love from the community.
That's why you're a little extra motivated when we play Purdue and Indiana, right? Huh?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm always motivated then.
What I didn't know reading his bio here, Tony, you got 3 younger brothers. Mm-hmm. So you're the guy they look up to. You're their hero there. Tell us about them. Are they ball players, or how old are they?
Yeah, my the second oldest, he's 17 right now. He goes to Lawrence North as well as I did. He plays basketball. I have another brother, 14 in 8th grade. He's straight
Young
football.
Kids. Yeah,
football.
And then my littlest brother, he's 8. He's just running around basketball. He doesn't know what he want to do yet.
I bet they take a lot of pride in their big brother.
Yeah.
He's being an 8-year-old. That's what he's being. Do they get here for games at all, or at least on occasion?
Yeah, my brother that's in middle school and my youngest one, they do.
Good.
The youngest one, when I had the 1,000-point ball in the middle of the court, I actually gave it to my littlest brother. And the one in high school, he don't really get to see too much because he's going through his season as well, so he don't really get to see that much, but besides on TV. So.
You understand who Fran McCaffery is. It's tough love.
Yeah.
when you're not doing what the game plan calls for, he's animated and get on you. But as a player, talk about Fran McCaffery and what he means to you and this whole process that is Iowa basketball.
It means a lot because he actually took a chance on me, the only high major coach that took a chance on me. So it's nothing but love and a great relationship. And this is a player, he always teaches his player, be yourself, go out there, trust yourself. I'm not going to yell at you for doing anything that I know you can do, but just go out there and play your heart out. So every time I play my heart out, I just received the same love that he gave me when I came here.
And Tony, you had a little heartache here in the middle of the year when you lost your grandmother that you're very close to, and then Peyton Sanford lost a grandparent, and Owen Freeman as well. And I think one of the touching things I've seen, and part of being a teammate, is when you and Peyton were up on the dais there after a ball game. I think it was Maryland, wasn't it? That you put your arm around him, and I know that meant a lot to Peyton. So just kind of talk about how you guys support each other.
The support is great. I went through the process first. It was heartbreaking.
Sure.
But, I had to be there for my teammates as well when they had the same situation. Actually, I didn't even know Peyton was going through that until like 2 days afterwards. But I was just holding Peyton, just like, this game isn't on you. We're a team. Everybody make mistakes. I made mistakes. You made mistakes. Everybody on the team makes mistakes. It's not the end of the world. We can always fix those and come back for the next game. And also the same thing with Owen. Like I said, I hugged him, said, if you need anything, I'm here. Just trying to be a great leader towards the younger kids. So.
How good is he going to be?
Oh, he's going to be good. Yeah.
He's Big Ten freshman of the year, right?
Yeah. I already told him that every game. I tell him, you Big Ten freshman of the year. Don't let none of these bigs do nothing. You're a Big Ten freshman of the year.
We got to keep him on the floor.
Stay on the floor a little longer. Yeah. 10 games, you're guaranteed 10 more games, and hopefully more beyond that. What's the talk in the locker room? Next game, I know, Penn State.
Yeah. Just recently, we just been talking about take one game at a time. Don't look towards the game after that. Like after the Ohio State game, we said this is where we need to get hot. We need to put ourselves in a great position to where we can get into the tournament and keep moving forward. Everybody stay positive. If we lose one, just get back up the next game and make sure we don't let the same mistakes happen over and over so we can get these wins.
Good deal. We got Bob here in the audience tonight. He wants to know, do you have a COVID year that you could use? Because he'd love to see you come back next year. But do you? Yeah, I think you have a COVID year.
Yeah, I actually do.
Okay. Yeah. So when does that conversation occur? After the season, or have you made up your mind yet? Or
I'll probably say after the season.
Okay.
I'm not turning down no opportunities.
Well, no, I mean, if the NBA calls, yeah. Well, I tell you what, whatever you do, it'll be the right decision. So Penn State out there on Thursday night, never an easy place to play. Your thoughts on the Nittany Lions? They had a big win against Indiana a couple days back.
Just ready to get revenge from last year. We lost to them in a close game that we should have won. So
I remember that one, New Year's Day.
Yeah, so whenever we watch film on that, we're just going to have a reminder that we got paid back. And
what do you know about
to get paid back.
Ace Baldwin? I watched him in that Indiana game. He's lefty, quick, shoot it deep. How do you D him up?
Just be physical. It's a different type of physicality when I'm guarding you. Might get bumped a little different. I'd be locked in. So
I want to see
that. Yeah.
Tony, thanks for coming.
Going to get some good ones this year, man. Good job.
Tony Perkins, great to have you out here, bud. Our guest player on Hawk Talk tonight. We'll go back with. We'll come back with Sherman Dillard. Coach Dillard pinch hitting for Coach McCaffery here tonight when we return. It's Super Bowl week, the big game week, and big game in basketball Thursday night when the Hawkeyes head to Penn State. But that said, good luck to George Kittle, one of our favorite Hawks, one of the great tight ends in football. It's always a special week. We turn the corner on January. February's here. March Madness not that far away. We'll come back with your questions on Facebook and Twitter for Coach Sherman right after this on Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency in Coralville and Learfield.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 57 years. Oak Knoll is located near University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oakknoll.com to learn more. We're a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Ground beef is only $2.99 a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And $2.99 a pound is not just the price today or this week. It's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop. And count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for ground beef every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. While farmers work hard to grow the best crop, their Iowa corn checkoff investments are hard at work too. Opening local and global markets for corn and corn-fed products, educating drivers on unleaded 88 as the best fuel at the pump, finding new uses for corn, and sharing the farmer's story. Iowa corn farmers are backed by researchers, educators, market experts, and more. To keep corn growing Iowa.
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through!
or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel. Good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smartertogether. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency. The Hyatt Regency Coralville, they're really fired up for their brand new restaurant. It's called the Watermill Kitchen and Bar, and it's scheduled to open mid-March, right in time for March Madness. It's a vibrant menu of locally sourced Midwest favorites, including specialties like braised short rib and sweet corn fritters. And we're excited to taste the fare coming in mid-March. Stop by the end of the season and experience that big wall back there will be gone. And we'll be open to the new Watermill Kitchen. They've been transferring the look of the beautiful Hyatt Regency here in the Iowa River Landing, where there's so much activity going on, like the Girls State Wrestling Championships this past weekend up the road or up the street at Extreme Arena, along with the Boys Dual Meet Championships. Lots going on, lots to come. Here in the Iowa River Landing. And of course, the Hyatt Regency is right in the middle of it. So thanks to Matt and the crew here, the great wait staff and bartenders at the Hyatt Regency who take care of us each and every week. Coach Herman Dillard is on board for tonight's Hawk Talk program from the Hyatt Regency. You just heard Tony, one of our favorite players. They're all our favorite players, but Tony's extra special in how his game has emerged. Sherm, and you being one of Iowa's primary recruiters, I'm sure you've got a good story or two about Tony.
You know, it's great to see Tony here on this platform with me. And, you know, in the recruiting process, a lot of times it's not an exact science. You have a chance to see a young man once. Either you like him or you don't like him. And maybe you call him on a bad night or a bad evening. But Tony was a young man that, I have to be honest, and Tony's here, he can hear me. He was not on our recruiting list going into the summer, his senior year. We did go to an event. Coach McCaffery and I went to an event in Champaign, Illinois. It was an NCAA certified event. And we were watching a list of guys that we had already put together. And as we were watching one game, we see Tony Perkins playing. And, you know, you look at the book and say, oh, number 22 is Tony Perkins. He's from Lawrence North High School in Indianapolis. And Fran and I kind of simultaneously both said, who's that kid? And basically, at that point, we started to recruit Tony and got all the information. And we found out that he played at Lawrence North High School. And Fran and I both have a relationship with the high school coach there, who's a Hall of Famer. I'm not sure he's a Hall of Famer yet, but he's one of the top coaches in the state of Indiana, Jack Kiefer. And so, you know, we follow up and we go back to see Tony. But I have so much respect for Tony because he bet on himself. And I say that because Tony wasn't being recruited by any other Power 5 programs. He mentioned this in his talk. And I remember going back to see him during the fall, and there were a couple mid-major programs there to watch Tony. They'd be recruiting him hard. And I had a sidebar conversation with Tony. I hope he remembers this. And I said, Tony, just hold tight. Don't panic. Don't jump to anything right now. I says, I got to get my head coach back here to see you live again. I said, but you need to be a Hawkeye. And I said, you can definitely play in the Big Ten, and you can definitely play for us at the University of Iowa. And so I credit Tony for he bet on himself and said, you know what, it was a bird in the hand worth two in the bush or something of that nature. Mm-hmm. And he decided, you know what, I want to play at the University of Iowa. And he came to visit, and thankfully he had a good visit.
Yeah.
And what'd you like in him? What was the biggest trait you liked in Tony?
The toughness. And I may have said this earlier. One of the things I think, the thing that separates Tony is his ability to have the mental toughness, physically, the mental toughness to be able to play through any kind of situation. He's a bucket getter, you know. Yeah. I think if you look in Webster Dictionary and you look up bucket getter, it's going to be Tony Perkins there because he can find a way to create his own shot. And I think a lot of you have given us some pressure saying that you guys need to get a guy that can get his own shot. Well, we got this in Tony Perkins. So we run a lot of different sets, and we can come down and call a play. But at the end of the day, the elite player is able to make a shot when the play didn't work. And as you witness time and time again this season, Tony has the unbelievable ability to be able to get his shot. A lot of times we may set a ball screen for him or run up flat or something of that nature, but sometimes we just want people to get out of the way and say, let Tony go to work. And that's a wonderful thing, and I think that's what separates him. That's why he's an elite player, not only in this conference, but I think he's an elite player in the country for his ability to be able to get his shot, play through some tough moments, okay? He did go to work this summer and work on his outside shot. He improved his outside shot, so now he's a double threat. He can shoot the three, and guys have to respect that ability and get into space, which opens up driving lanes for him and is able to get downhill. And that's why he's leading us in steals and points and almost close with rebounds. He's averaging 4 rebounds a game, but not quite, but, you know, he's versatile in all aspects.
Sure. That second half at Indiana, you turned him loose. Of course, he's in his home state. He's a little extra motivated, but key play after key play against Ohio State. So he's doing it against everybody.
He is, yes. And I think that's a mark of an outstanding player that, you know, and I think I shared this with him at the start of the season, you know, now you're at the top of the scouting report. You're the first name. You know, when we do scouting reports, we typically put the best player up there. So now Tony Perkins is at the top of the scouting report when people are talking about us and preparing for us. And I think like a LeBron or like a Kobe or like a Michael Jordan, you have to be able to meet that challenge and do it every single game. And Tony's been able to do that for us. Every game.
We got Ken on Facebook. Again, facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. He said this is for Coach and Tony. Well, Tony's gone, but Tony's sitting here, but he can hear. 2 things stand out about opposing players at the D1 level. They're fast and physical. What strategies or techniques can the Hawks employ to deal with these challenges most effectively? You just mentioned on the scouting report, best player is always listed number 1 on the scouting report. What's the first thing you talk about when you're you know, pick a team, pick their best player. Now, we've run into too many 7-foot centers the last couple of weeks, so we'll skip that. But where Tony's concerned, you're looking at all these great perimeter players, the Boo-Buies of the world. What's the first thing you talk about?
Well, I think for us as coaches, we look at how does that young man impact the game. You know, and like with an Edie, you know, how does he impact the game? Well, with his size and his ability to rebound the basketball, has been taking up space down low, all right, and his defensive prowess. You know, so we break it down like that on, you know, how impactful a kid could be. And I'm sure, like I said about Tony, people are saying, well, we got to keep him out of the paint. You know, we got to guard him in ball screen action, okay? He's a coast-to-coast guy, so when he gets a rebound, he's coming full steam ahead, all right? He has a burst. So all of those attributes will identify a kid that has our full attention, quite frankly. And I think gone are the days where guys can play at this level and be one-dimensional, if you will. You know, it used to be a guy was a catch and shoot, and it's all he did was catch the ball and shoot the basketball. I think in order to excel at this level in the Big Ten, and obviously for us here at the University of Iowa, you have to be able to do more. And we, thankfully, our guys get in the gym, do their work on their craft, and try to have a complete game.
Yeah, they certainly do. You know, and when you go back to Tony, I mean, it's consistency as well. You're not getting up and down. You got to have a bad game. When you're scoring 20 points, I mean, that's a player right there. 5 times in a row, maybe missed a couple games. I was looking back at my scorebook, and they had other games before that where he had 20. So, yeah, the ability to score at all 3 levels, the three-pointer, the mid-range, get to the hoop, and then consistently do that. I think that's what makes you a player.
Yeah, I think players, what we try to do with our guys as they come in as freshmen and hopefully they're here for 4 years, we're trying to build, hopefully they're growing at that craft. And a lot of it is what they do during the off season. A lot of it is how they have, you know, intentional practices and do things with a purpose. Some of the things we develop in them, but I think a lot of it has to come from within. And I know the guys I've coached, the ones that have gone on to be great players, the ones that have gone on to play in the NBA, are the guys that have spent a lot of time developing their craft. And Tony Perkins is one of those guys. He's always in the gym. I said this earlier. Refined his jump shot, All right, continues to work at his game, continues to be a leader for this team. I think people probably would want him to be a little bit more vocal, if you will. And I know when I played, I didn't say boo because I just wanted to play. I was just going to catch the ball, shoot it, and try to get my 20. But, you know, I think with Tony, he leads by his example. And I'd much rather have a young man that's going to go out there and be a leader by how he performs, how hard he plays. You know, being first in the gym, the last one to leave, and understanding that it's bigger than himself personally. It's about the team, and it's about the name on the front of that jersey and not the name on the back of the jersey for Tony Perkins.
For sure. I've said it many times, Tony the Tiger. He's all about toughness, and
yes.
he's that and then some. Before we take a break, Coach Greg on Twitter at Gary Dolphin. Greg says, Coach, how does game start times affect pregame prep? We got games at 11 a.m., noon, 6, 8 p.m., 6 o'clock on Thursday night. I know you guys deal with that throughout the year. That's the state of television that we're in now, all different times. Everybody wants to see the Hawks. How disruptive is it to have at least not stationary start times?
Oh, I think it's all fluid. I don't know if it's disruptive. What we do is typically 7, 8 o'clock games. You know, we want to have a game day shoot around about 5 hours before, pregame meal 4 hours before the game. Now, when it becomes a little bit problematic is when we have an 11 o'clock in the morning game, 11 o'clock game, maybe a 12 noon game. All right. Still, we would get the guys up earlier, have breakfast around 7 o'clock, 7:30. So we try to have a 4-hour, 4.5-hour window before they actually play. But again, it's something that we've all done, and Tony's done it for 4 years now. So I guess I use the term, you got to be adaptive. You got to be able to roll with it and be like Bruce Lee said, you got to be like water and flow. Do I like 11 o'clock in the morning games? No, I do not. Do I like 9 o'clock games in the evening? No, I do not. But we have to play the game when they schedule the game.
And that's what the Hawks do, and that's what everybody else in the Big Ten does. Well said. And next year, when 4 more teams come in, it's going to be crazier then.
And when we take that trip to L.A.
To the West Coast.
Yes.
Thanks for the question, Greg. Speaking of time, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification along the Hawkeye Radio Network. 10-second ID break. You're listening to Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. We'll pause to hear from our wonderful sponsors like Iowa Corn. Throughout the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series, Iowa Corn promotes values that are uniquely Iowan. On behalf of Iowa's corn farmers, we salute all athletes for their hard work and determination, both on and off the field. Just like our athletes, the state of Iowa leads the nation in corn and ethanol production. Follow Iowa Corn on Facebook to learn how corn grows Iowa. When we come back, we'll look at the U.S. Bank scoreboard for this Monday night. That's next on Hawk Talk from Learfield.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through!
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together. Member FDIC.
To anyone passing through our state, fields and fields of corn might be what they see. But the people who call Iowa home know it's so much more. Corn is ethanol, a homegrown, renewable fuel. Corn is delicious pork, beef, poultry, and dairy. Corn is in 4,000 products we rely on every day. So yeah, our highway views are full of corn, and we're proud of it. Because corn grows Iowa. Show your support for Iowa corn farmers at iowacorn.org/corngrowsiowa.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 57 years. Oak Knoll is located near University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hansher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oakknoll.com to learn more. We're a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
Ground beef is only $2.99 a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And $2.99 a pound is not just the price today or this week, it's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop and count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for ground beef every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bose, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
Back on Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Gary Dolphin. We're joined by Bobby Hansen, of course, our broadcast partner, and we'll be at Penn State for 6 o'clock tip on Thursday night, 5 o'clock for the pregame show here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Sherman Dillard, assistant head coach Sherman Dillard, is pinch hitting for Fran McCaffery tonight. We'll get back to Sherm in just a minute. Right now, a U.S. Bank scoreboard is in order, as you can imagine. Not a lot going on Monday night. There are a couple of other women's Big Ten games. Purdue leads Illinois 44-32. About halfway through the third quarter. Purdue, Illinois, Purdue 44, the Illini 32. Earlier, Michigan State defeated Minnesota 76-55. For men's basketball in the ACC, Virginia throttled Miami 60-58. That game went final a few minutes ago. And just about to start, Kansas at Kansas State. The battle for the Golden Wheat State of Kansas tonight. KU at K-State. That's our U.S. Bank scoreboard update. We'll come back with more Hawk Talk and get a preview on Penn State from Coach Dillard right after this from the Hyatt Regency in Learfield.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 57 years. Oak Knoll is located near University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hansher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oakknoll.com to learn more. We're a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through!
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together. Member FDIC.
To anyone passing through our state, fields and fields of corn might be what they see. But the people who call Iowa home know it's so much more. Corn is ethanol, a homegrown, renewable fuel. Corn is delicious pork, beef, poultry, and dairy. Corn is in 4,000 products we rely on every day. So yeah, our highway views are full of corn, and we're proud of it. Because corn grows Iowa. Show your support for Iowa corn farmers at iowacorn.org/fan of corn.
Ground beef is only $2.99 a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And $2.99 a pound is not just the price today or this week, it's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop and count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for ground beef every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this. with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
I'm Ingrid Lizarraga, breast surgeon at the University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center, the state's only NCI-designated cancer center. Here, we look beyond just the type of cancer you have to discover the molecular details of the disease. We have teams dedicated to each cancer type, with treatments and trials you won't find anywhere else in Iowa. Go to uihc.org/cancer.
All right, Hawk Talk rolls along here from the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. Gary Dolphin with former Hawkeye star Bobby Hansen and assistant head coach Sherman Dillard joining us tonight. Coach McCaffery is on the road out east, and we appreciate Coach Dillard filling in. We're at the Hyatt Regency Coralville, where we'd love to see you out here every Monday night, mostly Monday nights. I think most of our shows remaining are at Monday night, and stop by the Coralville restaurant in the Hyatt Regency here. Watch the show live. Each week they're offering a special food menu as well as new cocktails and $3 draft specials. Come on down to the Hyatt Regency Coralville. Join us for a great evening of Hawkeye basketball talk. Also during the show, whether it be on Facebook or Twitter, courtesy of Authentic Brand, we select an interesting question for the coaches each week via Twitter at Gary Dolphin or on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. You could win a Hawkeye gear prize package from Authentic Brand, and Coach Dillard actually selected our winner tonight. It's Kent on facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. Ken says, first of all, thank you, Sherman, and all the assistant coaches for your hard work, dedication behind the scenes to help the Hawkeye program be successful. And I don't think I've ever gotten this one before. What do you do to unwind after a big win or a tough loss? And what road venue do you enjoy coaching in the most? But let's start with the last week was a big win. That back and forth, 15 lead changes, 10 ties, beat the Buckeyes, postseason still out there. What'd you do Saturday night?
Well, what happens is I've been doing this for almost 40 years, Gary, and
you went home, went to bed.
No, not quite. But I celebrate internally. I celebrate with the team. I celebrate with the coaching staff. We all meet in our office suite there at Carver, and everybody's excited and jubilant about the win. But I can't unwind. I can't sleep after games, win or lose. I can't sleep after road trips, so I could be up 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not watching the film. It's just in my mind. It's just rushing because of the jubilation or the downer from losing the basketball game. I need to develop the NBA mindset. NBA coaches they coach about 80, 100 games a year, so they roll on to the next one. It's awfully tough and you have to notice as fans, you have to notice that the wins somehow don't stay as long with you. The feeling of winning doesn't stay with you as long as that feeling of losing.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yes.
I can tell you what this guy does do. He works out like 3 times a day. Before the game, he would work out during the game if he could. Certainly after the game.
He's up and down. He's working out.
Oh, man. On road trips, we get in, and he's the first guy on the treadmill. And then the next morning, he's running 10 miles before tip-off. So that relieves a lot of stress, I know. But
it absolutely does.
On the road, I don't know that you enjoy going anywhere the most, but do you have a favorite arena or one that's, it's all from a pure basketball perspective?
Kent, I hope I don't disappoint you in this, but I don't enjoy playing in any away arena. I mean, aesthetically, one may be nicer than the other. I mean, like the layout of a certain arena. I don't enjoy coaching on the road. I really don't.
Can't beat the home.
Yeah, it's because it's us against them. And,
yeah, for sure.
Everybody raves about certain venues in the Big Ten, and And I just look at it as, I just see the rectangle. I see the 94 by 50 floor with the colors and all of that.
Sure.
That's all I concern
You're
myself
looking at the
with.
shooting backdrop.
Yeah, I'm not looking at the stands. I'm not seeing how many fans they have. I'm just concerned about what goes on between the lines.
That's an honest answer, Kent, and you are the winner for tonight's Authentic Brand Hawkeye Gear Prize Pack. Authentic Brand is a proud partner, not only outfitting our broadcast team tonight and throughout the season, but outfitting thousands of fans on game day. Gear up for every game day and every day, an officially licensed Hawkeye apparel and accessories from Authentic Brand. Next week, forget the flowers, forget the candy. Order your favorite. Well, go ahead and order flowers and candy, but order a prize pack from a merch pack from Authentic Brand. Our friends out in Perry, Iowa, Clark Fessler and the crew. All right, Coach, give us the synopsis on the Penn State Nittany Lions. New coach, Coach Rhodes, has done a phenomenal job. They got a big win over Indiana after the Hawks left town, and they brought in a few transfers. One from his old school out at VCU, Virginia Commonwealth. That's territory you're very familiar with.
Absolutely. Well, I've followed Mike's career. He's done a fantastic job all of his career. Yes, he has reloaded. A group of guys that really play hard for him. I just watched the game today, and we can expect to see them press us a lot, full court, maybe for 40 minutes. They're led by the kid, Clary, outstanding scorer, Ace Baldwin, outstanding playmaker. They got the huge kid, nice size on the interior, kid that transferred from Georgetown, right? And it was at Maryland before that. And, Mike seems to always play hard. He's had that moniker ever since he's been, particularly at VCU. I studied him a lot when he was at VCU. So, obviously we have to be ready. We have to have a road warrior mentality when we go there. I think what we've been doing, though, I think we've been able to circle the wagons. I hate to use that term because it seems passive, but we've seen to have some grit on the road. We've been able to stay together as a team. And I think what it's going to take for us is to make sure we can defend at every position, and that we can execute under the rest offensively, particularly in a half-court set. Got to win the transition game against them, obviously. They're coming off 2 big wins. I mean, they won on the road at Rutgers, on the road at Indiana, both convincingly by 15 points in each game. They've had good wins this year against Wisconsin and early in the season. So, outstanding team. We know this, and I think in being in the league for 14 years, I think when we first got here, you could look at a team and say, maybe we get a W here, maybe. I used to try to project. I think this season was different completely because teams are playing extremely well, and I think particularly at home. So we're going to have to bring them. We got to bring our A game, and we got to really play collectively as hard as we can, as well as we can, as smart as we can on both sides of the basketball.
Bobby and I were talking before we went on the air tonight. This Ace Baldwin, former Atlantic 10 Player of the Year. Yeah. I mean, this young guy is the real deal. What do you like about his game?
Well, again, he's crafty and shifty, and I said this early in the show. He has the ability to get his own shot, and he can also make shots for his teammates. And it has a toughness, very much like Tony. And I think that's what separates him. But he's got a team of players like that, and I think obviously we have to make sure we're ready to meet that challenge and be the tougher team.
Bobby, you and I have commented many times on our trips to Penn State. It's such a cavernous, gigantic arena that maybe draws. Now they're getting more people out there, maybe 5,000 to 10,000 people in a 20,000 seat arena. Tough place to play if you're the visiting team. You like crowd noise, but it's different shooting backdrops. It's wasn't built for basketball only, and you got to adjust.
Yeah, it's one of those big arenas, kind of like the United Center, Kohl Center, but they don't fill it. I think they fill it for concerts up there, but they got a good team here now. As Coach was saying, with Mike Rhodes has come in there, and they've really built something I think those fans can get behind, and it is toughness. It's pressing you all over the court. And my question to, I don't know if this Kanye Clary will play. He got elbowed in the face, so he's got a face mask.
I don't think he played the other day, did he?
2 games he's been out, but do they play those 2 guys together, Ace Baldwin and Kanye?
They do, yes. They're both a terrific duo. Like I said, they both can get buckets. They like playing fast. They're going to push the tempo. And I said this earlier, obviously we got to get back and go to our yard, get back in transition, load up to the basketball, make sure we're in the gaps so that we can prevent dribble penetration. It'll be a hard-fought game. And it behooves, Tony and Josh Dix and, Brock and DeSante, all those guys that do a great job of guarding those guys on the perimeter. And we have to also give them some support. They'll be in a lot of ball screen action, so we got to make sure that we up, in, and over on ball screens. And our bigs got to make sure they at least hedging. If not hedging, they got to make sure they shallow that point guard and make sure he doesn't get down.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it enough, but Josh Dix, his game the other night, with some timely baskets.
7 of 10.
Yeah, his jump shot, it reminds me of Jerry West for the old guys out there that are looking, but he goes straight up and got great follow-through.
That's a pretty good endorsement, Jerry West.
I know, Jerry West. That was my hero growing up, my idol.
Was
Josh,
it in West Virginia? Jerry West?
Well, I was Virginia, but he's in West Virginia.
Oh, okay.
But still,
Same thing.
I loved
the logo.
I like the logo, yeah. But anyway, Josh, a game changer the other night. Unbelievable. His performance, just his ability to maintain his composure, his poise.
Yeah.
And he was very good in ball screen action. I think that changed the whole complexion of the game. We had Tony and Josh. We had two of those guys able to use the ball screen, whether it's a run up flat, whether we were snaking it or flipping it, and those two guys were able to get the guy on the hip, get into the paint, and make plays off the bounce. And then with Josh, what he adds to the table is his ability to use the ball screen and then 1-2 dribble pull-up. Sometimes it's a mid-range shot. Obviously, he's knocking down threes. What do you have, 15 points in the
15,
game?
yeah. Great
terrific performance for him. And we had always talked about, I think sometimes in games when we struggled, we have two guys that are scoring and carrying the load for us. You need that third scorer. And in that particular game, he was that third guy, with Peyton and Tony. And then when Josh stepping up and making shots like that, love his game. I love his demeanor. Now, you don't know whether he scored a bucket or turned the ball over or whatever, because he keeps the same even kill when he plays.
Never changes.
No, he doesn't change his expression. And I think that's because he's so focused. But he's one heck of a player. We knew that when we recruited him, and he's stepping up and finding his stride right now.
And he hurt an ankle at Indiana. Hopefully that he's completely recovered in time for Thursday night's game. But boy, he scores 15 points the way he did the other day. I'll take that every night on half an ankle. All right, one more break to reach for here as we approach the end of our this week's Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery. Sherman Dillard filling in for Coach McCaffery. Good stuff. Couple more questions for Sherm when we come back on Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency in Coralville and Learfield.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. While farmers work hard to grow the best crop, their Iowa corn checkoff investments are hard at work too. Opening local and global markets for corn and corn-fed products, educating drivers on unleaded 88 as the best fuel at the pump, finding new uses for corn, and sharing the farmer's story. Iowa corn farmers are backed by researchers, educators, market experts, and more. To keep corn growing Iowa.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bowes, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through! Yeah.
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together. Member FDIC.
Ground beef is only $2.99 a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And $2.99 a pound is not just the price today or this week. It's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop. And count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for ground beef every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 57 years. Oak Knoll is located near University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oakknoll.com to learn more. We're a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
Hawk Talk winding down at the Hyatt Regency here in Coralville. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you all for coming out, our live audience, as well as those around the Midwest.
Good crowd here tonight.
Yeah, terrific. Hawkeye Radio Network. Gary Dolphin, Bobby Hansen. We're talking with Associate Assistant Head Coach. What's your name again? Yeah, Sherman Dillard. Well, we were kind of joking during the break. Sherman has a lot to do with the scout team and the setup and making sure the starters and the top 7 or 8 are in proper game shape come tip-off time on Thursday night at Penn State. And you were, we've talked about Chris Kingsbury's son Carter in the past, and Luke Laquetta. And 2 new guys this year that we haven't talked. We haven't talked about, but I wanted to bring up Spencer Hutchison out of Dallas, Texas, and Javon Cater, who transferred in from Holy Cross, a senior from Far Rockaway, New York. Now you're from Virginia, so you should know where Far Rockaway is.
I don't think I've passed through that town yet.
Okay. Tell us about these 2 young guys on the scout team.
Well, first of all, Spencer and Javon both. I joined the team late in the fall. As we got to the point where we had to prepare for games and do scouting reports, we needed a scout team. And obviously we needed a point guard, and Javon's a point guard, and Spencer gives us an athletic wing that can replicate another athletic wing at, say, Michigan or Illinois. But these 2 young men came in late, joined the team, and I want to say this. I think the scout team, the guys on the scout team don't get enough credit for what they bring to the table for us, okay? You have to understand what these guys go through. Say if I have no Michigan scout, and I scout Michigan, I may watch a dozen games that Michigan plays before we play them. I try to prepare as best I can the best scouting report, detailed scouting report. I probably have every play that Michigan runs. And now if Juwan Howard, NBA mentality, he's going to have a plethora of offensive sets. You know, the NBA believes in all of that stuff. We get the scout team of 5 guys. Javon and Spencer are part of that team. Luke and Carter. Evan Braun sometimes is on that team. Riley Mulvey is on the scout team. And those guys, in a 30-minute segment, they can learn like 20 different offensive sets. Like in 30 minutes, we get together right before. Yeah, and it's not easy. And so they know what thumbs up is, or 2 to the side, or whatever it is. And so they have to be able to run that set and those sets in practice when we do our run through. And at times, guys, I want to say this, sometimes they run the stuff even better than the team that we're playing. They just don't have the prowess, the physical prowess, but they can run and replicate almost to the T, those sets, okay? And they do a great job of preparing our team for the game. They really do. And so after every game, if I have the scout, and win or lose, I always thank the scout team for preparing us, putting us through that period. And so for 2 days, we typically have sometimes a 2.5 day prep to get ready for the opposing team. And those guys will meet with the coach. In case if it's Michigan, they meet with me 20 minutes, 30 minutes before practice, and we go through every play, out of bounds play, everything. And then so when we have the practice, they're ready to do that live. And they do an outstanding job. And Javon is terrific as a point guard. He can get downhill, high-energy guy. And Spencer, like I said, is an athletic wing that can also get downhill, plays tough and physical. So I'm happy to have both those guys on the squad. And on top of that, you know, I think, and Fran has done a great job, and I think you guys have heard this before, recruiting high-character kids.
Yeah.
And those guys are unbelievable. When I go to bed at night, when I do sleep, times when I do sleep,
you get to bed.
I can lay my head on a pillow and not worry about what those guys are doing.
Spencer is 6'4". Javon is, I believe, 6'2".
6'2".
Yeah, 6'2" senior who was at Holy Cross before he transferred into Iowa. And who replicates Zach Edey when you're putting a scout team together?
We have to have Riley Mulvey.
Oh, sure.
Riley does a good job.
He does.
Because he's a long drink of water, and he can catch it on the block, and he can go either shoulder, left or right shoulder. But he's done a good job in that regard.
So Javon or Spencer aren't standing on his shoulder blades for Riley. I'm watching that Wisconsin game yesterday, man. I'm telling you that. They're banging bodies. That is Big Ten basketball, isn't it? I mean, you got Crowell and Tyler Wall beating on Edey.
Absolutely.
Didn't even bother him.
No.
Tyler Wall couldn't find an opening underneath there one time. It was like, throw the ball out of there. You're not going to shoot it over him.
Edey is the ultimate hard guard. I call him a guy that's hard to guard. I just call it hard guard. He's a hard guard. I don't know how you guard him. You double him.
Yeah.
We have times where in our scheme where we want to double down from the top, and it could be Brock Harding going down to double on a 7'5" guy, and can he affect the change with anything he's doing? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe he could be a little like a gnat in there fighting with the guy.
We got to run.
You got to come big.
My lasting memory of Saturday is Brock Harding got switched off on Akpara.
Exactly.
6'11", guarded by
He'll fight him.
6 foot. Yeah. Good note to end on. Sherm, thanks for coming out tonight.
Thank you guys for having me.
Bobby, we'll see you Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Penn State. Thank you all for coming out to the Hyatt Regency, and Hawk Talk will be here next week. Talk then. Good night.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield, live from the Hyatt Regency, this has been Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery, brought to you by Authentic Brand, the premium label of choice. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. By your local Ford dealers. Hy-Vee, score big savings with the new Hy-Vee Perks membership. Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa basketball. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by U.S. Cellular, built for the Hawkeyes. Built for silencing notifications and turning up the noise. U.S. Cellular, built for us. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.